This program is about the desire for change and dissatisfaction with the status quo. I like where I am, but I see where I could go, and I want to be there. But how far and how high can I go? What are my limitations psychologically? Limits are physical barriers. Limitations are psychological boundaries. I assert to you, you'll never reach your physical limits because of your psychological limitations. Limits are physical in that biological and other health factors, age and skills, do impose certain restrictions on performance. However, these limits for most of us will never be fully tested because of the limitations that are caused by our beliefs. Limitations are psychological. Over time, we all learn to raise or lower our expectations of ourselves because of our experiences. Disappointments become solid barriers. Successes give us confidence. And as we get older, we don't simply move past these limitations. We have internalized. Some of them stay with us throughout our lives. Winners are constantly seeking growth and high performance and incrementally keep raising the bar on these invisible barriers. I recall when I was working with a world-class Olympic high jumper, and he was preparing for the summer games. And he could clear the high jump bar in practice and in competition at about 7 feet 5 inches, but no higher, regardless of the technique or the practice. When he wasn't paying close attention one day, we raised the bar an inch to 7 feet 6 inches, thinking it was still at the lower setting. He cleared it. And when I told him what he had done, he looked at me in disbelief, almost agitated. "But I can't jump that high," he complained and explained. "You just did," I smiled. "You just conquered your own 4-minute mile barrier, just as Roger Bannister did so many years ago." Once Bannister proved that it was possible to run a mile in under 4 minutes on May 6, 1954, suddenly more and more track stars were able to do it, proving an important lesson. Once you stop believing that something is impossible, it becomes possible. When I was a boy, I used to enjoy going to the local county fair to see the flea circus. And that was always a hit with me and my friends. I couldn't comprehend at first how these fleas could be trained to hop and jump around on miniature trampolines, trapezes, and not leap out of their little arenas that had no ceilings. I found out from the man that put on the show that for a couple of weeks, he kept the fleas in a cardboard shoebox with a lid on it with pin-pricked holes so the fleas could breathe. And fleas normally can jump a height of several feet. However, the circus fleas continually hit the box lid, and soon they learned that 6 inches was their maximum limit. And when the lid was removed, because they'd been trained to lower their expectations through frustration, they didn't even attempt to jump out of their circus arena, which would have been no problem. We humans certainly are more intelligent than fleas. However, behavior patterns seem to be consistent no matter the species. First, we observe role models. We imitate their behavior. Through repetition, the imitation becomes habitual, like brushing our teeth or driving our cars. And if the feedback is negative and painful, we reinforce our failed attempts and settle for mediocrity, rather than face future challenges and possible setbacks. But if the feedback is positive and accepted as target correction, we're motivated to try a different approach and keep reaching for our highest aspirations. Subconscious reflections of past mistakes, fears of future failures, and the fears of the unknown tend to act as ceilings or lids on our achievements. Here's the good news. While visiting SeaWorld many times with my grandchildren in my hometown of San Diego, California, my grandkids were amazed to see the dolphins jumping in formation out of the water and over a rope position 12 feet above the surface. We learned from the trainers that they begin by placing a rope on the bottom of the pool and rewarding the dolphins with the mackerel and tuna when they pass over it. Incrementally, the rope is raised until it is completely out of the water, and the dolphins are motivated by rewards to jump out of the water to cross over the rope, just as dolphins are encouraged through positive reinforcement. People also respond to rewards and appreciation and recognition and praise. But unlike animals, we humans have the power to choose and control, to a large degree, the conditioning of our present and future lives. When you look in the mirror, there are three reflections: the child of your past, the person you are today, and the person you will become in the future. The way you were as a child, layered with the way you were 1, 5, 10, maybe 20 years ago, equals your present behavior. You see, you condition yourself, and then you behave accordingly. The interesting thing, because past conditioning determines present performance, is that you never make a decision based upon what's happening right now. You base your decision on what happened before, the way it was, the way it used to be, and you're likely to experience the same thing again. So past conditioning equals present behavior, and that's why Olympic athletes practice under a coach's watchful eyes, and then they perform based upon their training. Well, how do you change? Interestingly enough, it isn't that present inputs determine future behavior. Oh, I wish it were. I wish you could go to a seminar and then just say, I got it. I changed. You see, you get stimulated in the present, but your subconscious computer memory, and if you're about 40 years old, is almost 350,000 hours full of past conditioning. So you go to a meeting, let's say for an hour. Have we all agreed to change? Could anyone presume that a pep talk would change somebody? Pep talks wear off. People go back to being themselves. And that's why ongoing educational programs are so important. They become training and tracking systems for everyday living. And therefore, you look at your past conditioning and you realize that you've been limiting yourself. And you use present inputs to layer on top of the past conditioning, and you change the future behavior and performance accordingly. And therefore, it's very important that you think about and practice over and over again. It's most important that you view yourself as being self-limiting by your thinking and training instead of blaming externals. Most people feel like thermometers. A thermometer rises or falls to meet the external environment. It's controlled by outside circumstances. The majority of the population's self-images are controlled by society's external standards. Our self-image is the total picture of who we think we are, and the camera starts rolling at birth. The camera, our brain, takes pictures fast and furiously throughout life, and every frame is tucked away in a memory file of limitless capacity. The subjective sense of who we think ourselves to be governs all of our actions and controls our destiny. How we feel about ourselves, how we rate our ability to hang in there, to survive and win, and all that we do or aspire to be is based on our time-reinforced self-image. Unfortunately, once an idea or belief becomes a perception, it becomes a truth for our self-image. Each link we add to the growing chain of self-images may either strengthen or shackle our lives more tightly. Control is in our hands. We can't outgrow the limitations we place on ourselves through faulty self-imaging, but we can set new, higher standards. We can reset our self-image like an internal thermostat, from low to high self-esteem, from loser to winner, and from victim of change to victor over change. Each of us has a number of comfort zones or settings that we've developed throughout our lives. And these dictate the amount of discomfort that we're willing to suffer before we make adjustments. Our self-image is definitely a thermostat, keeping us in a psychological comfort zone. Knowledge of your attributes, abilities, interests, strengths, weaknesses, and traits is essential to becoming proactive in career choice and career change. Where to begin your personal assessment? First, you should know your innate talents. After many years of observation, we're still surprised by how few people try to make a connection between what you're good at or what they're good at and what they do. Virtually all individuals have at least 3 to 5 major talents, and many have more. It's important to note that your talents are present at birth. You'll gain knowledge, attitudes, skills, and habits throughout your life. Our careers are a blend of natural abilities, environmental modeling, acquired skills, and experience. Many times our careers hinge heavily on the economic requirements at pivotal age and family considerations. If we're to develop our lives along the path of greatest wisdom, however, we should give serious thought to discovering our inherent abilities as early as possible. One of the secrets to becoming a consistent winner in your personal and professional life is to play to your core competencies. To be your best, you need to do what you love what you do, and deliver more in value than you expect to receive in payment. You must believe in your potential, and that's what this program is designed to help you discover and employ. How do you know what it is? In addition to your own introspection, you should consider investing in a legitimate talent or natural gift test. 2 nonprofit foundations are worth considering. The Johnson O'Connor Foundation in New York City, with multiple offices nationwide, and the Ball Foundation in the Chicago area, with an online program as well. There are 19 innate talents that have been identified and can be tested. Google their names for more information. You have literally acres of diamonds inherently waiting for you to uncover and mine them. When you look for value, look inside. The next step in assessing your interest is considering your current ones. What do you most enjoy after work? What do you most want to do weekends and vacations? What are your hobbies? Your after-work activities? Your favorite kinds of books? Examination of your personal interest might reveal a gem of potential that you can apply to your current professional work. Also, our research has shown that what we love to do well as children continues to shape our lives as adults. So an excellent awareness exercise is to spend time reviewing positive experiences and fantasies that you had as a child. Talents and personality traits come naturally at birth. Behavior patterns and habits are learned by observation, imitation, and repetition. In all of the best research involving high-performance executives in nearly every field and job description, from technical to sales, from top management to hourly workers, combined with a database working with Olympic athletes, coaches, and professional teams, we've learned that certain core behavioral traits generally define the high achiever and the leader. For example, you want high scores in ambition, self-confidence, and mental toughness. Candidates who score low on any of these 3 traits, or whose tests show a lack of self-control of habits, lack of flexibility, and a pattern of becoming overly emotional under stress, may require careful screening or special training to predict their probable impact on performance. Even if you're reasonably satisfied with the current status of your career and your life, exploring yourself as deeply as possible can increase your self-awareness and your motivation. And if you do know what you really want to do, and it involves changes, ask whether you're acting to make your dreams a reality. Champions know who and where they are today and what and where they want to be tomorrow. And they get there. So here's your question of the day. What do you honestly think is holding you back most in achieving your highest aspirations? Externals beyond your control or internal insecurities? And feel free to share your responses with the tribe. Today's action: get out of your comfort zone. Call, text, email, or reach out to someone in person who you're hesitant to contact because of time, distance, or misunderstanding.